Good morning, guys. I think in the last class we were discussing about the diagonal relationship of lithium and magnesium as well as anomalous behavior of lithium. Now, in this class, we will discuss about some important compounds of sodium. Sodium is one of the important elements of the alkali metals, which forms various commercially important compounds. Important compounds of sodium. Right? Sodium forms various compounds such as sodium chloride, it also form sodium hydroxide, it is also called as caustic soda. It will form sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. It also forms sodium sulfate, etc. compounds are commercially important. We are going to discuss about some of these compounds one by one. We'll start the discussion with the first compound, that sodium Na2CO, which is called as sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate. The sodium carbonate occurs in various forms in the nature. Suppose if it is existing in the form of Na2CO3, this is called unhydrated sodium carbonate. What do you call it? Sodium carbonate. It can also exist in hydrated form, that is Na2CO3 H2O. This is called sodium carbonate monohydrate. We call it as, what do you call it as? Monohydrate. It may also exist in another hydrated form, that is Na2CO3 7H2. This is called sodium heptahydrate complex. It also exists in another form, which is called as sodium carbonate decahydrate. What do we call it as? Decahydrate. This particular compound of sodium carbonate decahydrate is called as, generally it is used as washing soda. This is a very important compound commercially, which is used as washing soda. This is called as washing soda. Now, if you are talking about in this particular concept, we are going to discuss about the general methods of preparation as well as properties as well as the uses of particular compound. So, as we are dealing with the sodium carbonate, in the nature it can exist in unhydrated form as well as hydrated form. In the hydrated form, it exists as monohydrated form, heptahydrated form and decahydrated form based on the number of water molecule in the crystallization. Right? Especially this sodium carbonate decahydrate is considered as we use them for the laundry purpose, that is a washing purpose, as it is called as washing soda. If you are talking about the preparation of this sodium carbonate, there are several methods of preparation. You will see it can be prepared by following methods. The first method, you can see that lait blanc process. It can be prepared from lait blanc process, or it can also be prepared from very important process, which is called solvent process, or it can also be prepared from another process called electrolysis process. Electrolysis of sodium chloride. Now let us see these processes one by one. The first process is lait blanc process of preparation of sodium carbonate. In this process, the required chemicals for the preparation of Na2CO3 are generally required NaCl as well as H2SO4 and calcium carbonate and carbon are required. What are the required compounds? Carbon are required. In this particular process, there are three steps. The first step involves conversion of NaCl to Na2SO4. That is, in the first step, what we do, NaCl, sodium chloride, will be converted into sodium sulfate. For this purpose, what we do, generally, this NaCl on reaction with H2SO4, it forms sodium hydrogen sulfate plus HCl, it will form. What is this called? This is sodium chloride, this is sodium sulfuric acid. On reaction, what it forms? Sodium hydrogen sulfate. This sodium hydrogen sulfate on reaction with NaCl, it will be converted into Na2SO4 plus HCl. It will be converted to sodium sulfate. This sodium sulfate formed in this particular state will be called as, it is generally regarded as salt cake. The sodium sulfate formed in this process is called as salt cake. You need to remember this type of terminology. In the objective point of view, you may be asked which of the following composition represents the salt cake. What is salt cake? Sodium sulfate formed in preparation of sodium carbonate from the Leblanc process is generally called as salt cake. Now, in the second step, conversion of Na2SO4 to Na2CO3. Here what we do, this sodium sulfate, when it is treated with carbon, it will be converted into sodium sulfide plus carbon monoxide. If you want to balance this equation, take 4 moles of carbon, it forms 4 moles of carbon monoxide. This is called sodium sulfide. What is this? Sodium sulfide. Now, when you treat this sodium sulfide with calcium carbonate, now it will form sodium carbonate plus calcium sulfide. This is where you get the sodium carbonate. The mixture of this sodium carbonate and calcium sulfide are called as black ash. What they are called? Black ash. Now, the third step involves that recovery of Na2CO3. Now, what we do in the third step is that this powdered black ash is dissolved, crushed black ash is dissolved in water. Then what happens? Na2CO3 is soluble, completely dissolves, whereas Ca2, this calcium sulfate, is insoluble. On filtration, what happens? This calcium sulfide will be removed from the solution. On evaporation, what happens? Excess of water will be removed and you will get the crystals of Na2CO3. This is the first method of preparation of, what is this? Leblanc process of preparation of sodium carbonate. Right? Now, if we are talking about another method, which is called as a second important method, is that Solvay process. In this Solvay process, basically this is a modern and very important process for the preparation of sodium carbonate, because nowadays sodium carbonate is commercially, that is on large scale, is prepared from this particular process. What it is? It is a modern and important process of preparation of Na2CO3 on large scale. On what is this? On large scale. Correct? Now, here, for the preparation of Na2CO3 by Solvay process, the chemicals required are basically brine solution, that is NaCl solution, as well as sodium carbonate, and as well as ammonia gas. These are the chemicals that are required for the preparation of sodium carbonate from the Solvay process. Now we will see the chemical reaction of this Solvay process. Wood is clear so far? what are the chemicals required? Chemicals required are sodium chloride solution as well as calcium carbonate and ammonia gas. First of all, what happens when you are heating this limestone calcium carbonate, on heating it decomposes into calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide gas. Right? This is calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. Now what happens? This carbon dioxide will react with water to form ammonium carbonate. What it will form? It forms ammonium carbonate. If you want to write a balanced equation, this is called balanced equation. 2 moles of ammonia reaction with 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Where from this carbon dioxide is coming? Carbon dioxide is coming from the decomposition of calcium carbonate, and it will form. This is called ammonium carbonate. Right? Now this ammonium carbonate, when it is treated with carbon dioxide and water, it forms 2 moles of ammonium hydrogen carbonate. What is this? This is called ammonium hydrogen carbonate, or we call it as ammonium bicarbonate. Now this ammonium hydrogen carbonate is treated with saturated brine solution, saturated NaCl solution. Now it will form sodium hydrogen carbonate plus ammonium chloride. It will form. What is this? This is called sodium hydrogen carbonate, or we also call it as sodium bicarbonate. Now when 2 moles of this sodium carbonate is heated, it will be converted into, when 2 moles of sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated, it will be converted into sodium carbonate plus carbon dioxide plus water gas will be evaporated. This is where you get the sodium carbonate. Right? Now, what are the important aspects? Here, ammonia on reaction with carbon dioxide, what it forms? Ammonium carbonate. This ammonium carbonate on reaction with excess of water and carbon dioxide, that will form ammonium hydrogen carbonate. When this ammonium hydrogen carbonate is treated with NaCl, that will be converted into sodium hydrogen carbonate plus ammonium chloride. Now, this sodium hydrogen carbonate on heating will decompose into sodium carbonate plus carbon dioxide and water vapor. Now, here what happens? This calcium oxide formed in the first step will react with water to form calcium hydroxide. Now, this calcium hydroxide on reaction with ammonium chloride, it forms with 2 moles. It will form calcium chloride plus 2 moles of ammonia gas plus water. It will form. Right? It will form 2 moles of water. It will form. Right? 2 moles of water. Now this is the byproduct in the solvent process. What is this? Calcium chloride is the byproduct. Right? And now the ammonia produced will be recycled in the preparation of what is this? Ammonium carbonate. Right? This is a commercial production of sodium carbonate industry. Good is clear. And the last method of preparation is that electrolysis process. In this process, basically what happens? Electrolysis of aqueous sodium chloride by Nelson process. Forms, either by Nelson process or Caterpillar process, forms sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is prepared by the electrolysis of aqueous NaCl. Right? This will be discussed in the preparation of sodium hydroxide. Basically, what happens in this process, sodium hydroxide is treated with carbon dioxide. This will be converted into Na2CO3 plus H2. Right? This is another method of preparation of sodium carbonate. Now, if you are talking about the properties of Na2CO3, it is a white crystalline solid, highly soluble water, highly soluble in water. Important thing is that this sodium carbonate decahydrate is used as washing, known as washing soda. When this sodium carbonate decahydrate is heated at a temperature 273 Kelvin or less than 273 Kelvin. Now what happens? It will be decomposed into Na2CO3 monohydrate, sodium carbonate monohydrate. If this is heated further, if you are heating this sodium carbonate monohydrate at temperature greater than 373 Kelvin, it will become unhydrated. This is unhydrated sodium carbonate. If you are talking about the chemical properties, of this sodium carbonate will react with various compounds. First of all, if you are talking about the nature of aqueous solution of Na2CO3 is basic in nature. Why it is basic? Because this Na2CO3 in aqueous solution contains carbonate ion. This carbonate ion undergo hydrolysis. It will be converted into H2CO3 plus 2 moles of hydroxide. Because of the presence of this hydroxide ion, the aqueous solution of sodium carbonate will be basic in nature due to the hydrolysis of carbonate ion. Right? Now, if you are talking about the chemical reactions of this sodium carbonate, it will react with HCl. On reaction with HCl, it will form NaCl plus carbon dioxide plus water will form. If you want to write a balanced equation, take 2 moles of HCl, it will form 2 moles of NaCl, and along with the formation of 1 mole of water as well as 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Now, if you are treating this is on reaction with H2SO4. On reaction with H2SO4, it forms Na2SO4 plus carbon dioxide plus water will form. Right? In a similar manner, if you are treating this with sulfur dioxide, on reaction with sulfur dioxide, removal of carbon dioxide takes place. By that, it will be converted into sodium sulfite. It will convert. This is called sodium sulfite. What is this? Sodium sulfite. This sodium sulfite on reaction with further sulfur, it will be converted into. This is called sodium thiosulfate. It forms sodium thiosulfate. Now, suppose if you are treating this with silicon oxide, sodium carbonate on reaction with silicon oxide, it will be converted into sodium silicate. What is this called? Sodium silicate with the liberation of carbon dioxide gas. Right? This is on reaction with calcium hydroxide. It is on reaction with calcium hydroxide. It will be converted into sodium hydroxide plus calcium carbonate. Here you have 2 moles of sodium hydroxide. Suppose if you are treating this calcium chloride. Calcium chloride, it will form sodium chloride plus calcium carbonate will form. Right? This is how it reacts with the various reagents. Reaction with HCl, reaction with H2SO4, reaction with sulfur dioxide, reaction with silicon oxide, reaction with calcium hydroxide and reaction with calcium chloride. There are some more reactions that we will continue. Now, if you are trading this magnesium chloride, it will form magnesium carbonate plus magnesium sodium chloride. It will form. If you are trading this zinc sulfate, it will form sodium sulfate plus zinc carbonate. It will form. If you are treating this with barium chloride, it will form sodium chloride plus barium carbonate. It will form. These are the some chemical reactions of sodium carbonate. When it comes to the uses of sodium carbonate is generally commercially is very important compound because it can be converted into sodium hydroxide. How? If you are treating this sodium carbonate with lime water, it will be converted into sodium hydroxide plus calcium carbonate. It is very essential. This is a reversible reaction, right? You can convert a sodium carbonate into sodium hydroxide, and sodium hydroxide can be converted into sodium carbonate. If you require sodium hydroxide, readily can be prepared from the sodium carbonate. If you are talking about the uses, it is used in the softening of hard water. Softening of hard water. In the hard water treatment, we use it to remove the insoluble compounds. It is used in laundry, that is washing of clothes and etc. It is used in manufacture of glass soap. It is also used in the manufacture of soap. It is used in the manufacture of borax. It is also used. It is used in the manufacture of paper and also used in textile industry. Right? It is also used in both qualitative and quantitative analysis. It is used as a laboratory reagent where it is used to detect the other reagents both in quantitative as well as quantitative and qualitative analysis. It is used as an important laboratory reagent in the identification of other substances and estimation of other substances. These are some important applications of sodium carbonate. It is clear so. This makes the completion of discussion about the sodium carbonate, its methods of preparation, its properties as well as its uses. And the second important compound of this sodium is that it is called sodium hydrogen carbonate. What is this? Sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate. It is also called as sodium bicarbonate, or it is also called as baking soda. Importantly, it is called as baking soda. You might have seen it widely used in the preparation of food materials. Right? Now, if you are talking about its preparation, it is obtained as an intermediate compound in solvay process. Just we have discussed the solvay process. In the solvay process, what happens? Generally, when ammonia is treated with carbon dioxide and water, it forms ammonium hydrogen carbonate. When this ammonium hydrogen carbonate is treated with sodium chloride, it forms sodium hydrogen carbonate plus ammonium chloride. Here we get this is an intermediate compound. When you heat this sodium hydrogen carbonate, that will produce as sodium carbonate. Now, if you are talking about its properties, it is also white. It is a white crystalline solid which is sparingly soluble. Sparingly soluble in water. This is sparingly soluble in water, whereas sodium carbonate is completely soluble in water. And another important property is that if you are heating this sodium hydrogen carbonate, what happens? It readily converts into sodium carbonate with the liberation of carbon dioxide and water vapor. Now, another important property is that the aqueous solution of sodium hydrogen carbonate is basic in nature. Basic in nature due to what is? Due to hydrolysis of hydrogen carbonate. This hydrogen carbonate present in the aqueous solution of sodium carbonate will be hydrolyzed by water to produce carbonic acid plus hydroxide. Due to the presence of this hydroxide ion, this will be alkaline in nature. If you are talking about the uses of before that, one more important thing is that the composition. If you are talking about the composition of baking soda, this is a very important composition of baking soda. Baking soda generally consists sodium hydrogen carbonate, starch, and calcium dihydrogen phosphate. This is calcium dihydrogen phosphate. Along with sodium aluminium sulfate. This is sodium aluminium sulfate. The composition must be, this is the general composition of baking soda. Here, if you are talking about the percentage, the baking soda comprises 40% of starch and 30% of sodium hydrogen carbonate, 20% of calcium dihydrogen phosphate, and 10% of sodium aluminium sulfate. Here, the sodium aluminium sulfate is generally used to slow down the reaction or decomposition of the sodium carbonate. What is the principle involved for using it as a baking soda is that when you are heating this particular sodium hydrogen carbonate, what it will do? It will produce carbon dioxide gas as well as water vapor, which will make the food substance fluffy. Or because of that only it is widely used in the making of bread, bakery items. Now, this decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate will be slowed down by the presence of sodium aluminium sulfate. Right? If you are talking about the uses of sodium hydrogen carbonate, it is basically used as in making food material, in the manufacture of, in preparation of food materials. It is also used as an antiseptic agent. Sorry, not antiseptic agent. It is used as it is used in antacid. Antacid. What is meant by antacid? Which will suppresses the secretion of itself in the intestine. It is generally used for acidity. It is used as an antacid. It is used as antacid, and it is also used as fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher. During the decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate, it liberates the carbon dioxide gas, which will suppress the fire. Because of that reason, it is also used as a fire extinguisher. These are the methods of preparation, properties as well as uses of the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Importantly, you need to remember that sodium hydrogen carbonate is also called as baking soda. The composition of baking soda generally comprises 40% of starch, 30% of sodium hydrogen carbonate, 20% of calcium dihydrogen phosphate, and what is this? 10% of sodium aluminum sulfates. Hope it is clear so far. The next important compound is that sodium hydrogen, sodium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. It is also called as caustic soda. Caustic soda. The common name of this sodium hydroxide is called as caustic soda. And here, if you are talking about the methods of preparation, it is prepared from the following methods. There are several methods. First method we call as plasticization. Plasticization. Second method is from Nelson process. Nelson process. And third method is that Kastner-Kellner process. These are the some important methods of preparation of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is one of the commercially very important compound because it is used industrially very widely. It is used in the textile industry, it is used in the petroleum industry, it is used in the making of soaps, glass. Because of wide range of application in the industry, it is a very important compound in the alkali chemicals and alkali chemistry. Right? Now, if you are talking about the first process, plasticization. Plasticizing or plasticization. In this method, sodium hydroxide is prepared from, generally what we do here, from sodium carbonate, it is prepared from sodium carbonate. On reaction with the live water, when you are treating this sodium carbonate with calcium hydroxide, it forms sodium hydroxide plus calcium carbonate. So simple direct process here, around 85 degrees Celsius we have to make this reaction. When you are directly treating this sodium carbonate with calcium hydroxide, that is lime water, it produces sodium hydroxide and calcium carbonate. Right? Now the second process is called Nelson process. Nelson process. In this process, generally sodium hydroxide is prepared from the electrolysis of aqueous NaCl. Aqueous NaCl branch reducing process. So generally, you know that electrolysis means breaking of any compound by using electric current will be called as electrolysis. And in this Nelson cell process, what happens? We use a cathode of perforated steel, and anode as. Here you need to remember what is cathode and what is anode. Here we use anode as graphite. And if you are talking about the overall reaction, generally what happens? Aqueous NaCl. What is meant by aqueous NaCl? Sodium chloride dissolving water will be called as aqueous NaCl. When you are electrolyzing this, on electrolysis, generally what happens? It forms sodium hydroxide with the liberation of hydrogen gas and Cl2 gas. This hydrogen gas is evolved into cathode and this chlorine gas is evolved into anode. You need to remember what is evolved at cathode as well as what is evolved at anode. Right? Now, if you are talking about the reaction, generally we know that NaCl will dissociate as Na plus and Cl minus. If you are talking about the reaction at cathode, what happens? At cathode, generally what happens? 2 moles of water by gaining 2 electrons will liberate a mole of hydrogen gas plus 2 OH minus and hydroxide. At cathode, what is liberating? Hydrogen gas is liberating. And this sodium hydroxide from here will combine with Na plus to form NaOH. Right? This is where you are getting this NaOH. If you're talking about the reaction at anode, basically what happens? Anion reaches to the anode and 2 moles of anion will release 2 electrons and gets converted to chlorine gas. This chlorine gas is evolved. In this overall process, the important aspects are in the Nelson process, what is the cathode, what is the anode, and what is the reaction at cathode as well as what is the reaction at anode, and what is getting evolved at cathode as well as what is getting evolved at anode is very important. In this process, at cathode H2 gas will be liberated and anode Cl2 gas will be liberated. We are not going to discuss about the entire setup and all those things that we have already studied in the theory, and you have drawn the neat diagrams and all those things. Here we are only speaking about the competitive point of view. In the competitive point of view, what are the questionable aspects of Nelson processes are what is cathode, what is anode, what is the cathodic reaction, what is the anodic reaction, and what is getting evolved at cathode as well as what is getting evolved at anode are very important things. This is about the Nelson process of preparation of sodium hydroxide. Hope this is clear. And we will move to the next process. What is the next process? This is called the Castner-Keller process, which is a very, very important process. Castner-Keller's process or electrolysis. In this process, NaOH is prepared from electrolysis of brine solution. What is brine solution? Nothing but NaCl solution, aqueous NaCl solution. It is a 2-chambered electrolytic cell. There will be 2 chambers, right? You might have seen this setup. It will be like this. In the middle, it will be cathode, mercury solution, and here the setup will lie something like this, right? You might have remembered this. Right? Here, this is a graphite anode. Here, this is mercury. Here, mercury solution. Now, this will be connected to the battery. This is the outline structures. We are not going to discuss in depth. There are 2 chambers. This will be called outer compartment, and this will be called inner compartment. Basically, what happens here in outer compartment? Right? In outer compartment, what is cathode and what is anode? Cathode is basically mercury and anode is graphite or carbon. Right? In inner compartment. In inner compartment, cathode is iron and anode is mercury. This is an important aspect. What are cathode atoms in inner compartment as well as outer compartment? If you are talking about the overall reaction, this NaCl will basically what happens? NaOH will liberates H2 gas as well as Cl2 gas. This will be at cathode and this will be at anode. This is the overall reaction. If you are talking about the anodic reaction, first let us see reaction at cathode. Reaction at cathode, what happens? At cathode, Na plus. Right? Generally, what happens? At cathode, reaction takes place. Na plus will be reduced to Na solid. This Na solid will combine with mercury to form sodium amalgam. What is this called? This is called sodium amalgam. Sodium amalgam. This sodium amalgam will react with water to form NaOH plus Hg plus H2. If you want to write a balanced equation, take 2 moles of sodium amalgam as well as 2 moles of water. It forms 2 moles of sodium hydroxide and 2 moles of Hg, and as well as 2 moles of 1 mole of H2 gas will be liberated. And if you are talking about the reaction at anode, At anode the reaction will be same. Cl minus reaches anode and it will be converted into Cl2 when using two electrodes. Right? It will get oxidized to Cl gas. This is the overall reaction in the Castner-Kellner process. The important process. It is also called as mercuric cathode process, because there will be two components in the electrolyte cell, the outer compartment and the inner compartment. The outer compartment generally cathode is mercury and the anode is graphite. In the inner compartment cathode is iron and anode is mercury. And this is the cathodic of reaction and this is the anodic of reaction. And in the similar manner, as Nelson said here also, at cathode hydrogen gas is getting liberated, at anode chlorine gas is getting liberated with the formation of what is the sodium hydroxide. These are the different methods of preparation of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. Now, if you are talking about the properties, of sodium hydroxide, the important thing is that it is a white crystalline solid, white, hygroscopic and deliquescent solid. What is meant by hygroscopic and deliquescent? Hygroscopic means the tendency of absorbing moisture, the tendency of a compound to absorb the moisture, absorption of moisture in the atmosphere. The tendency of a compound to absorb the moisture in the atmosphere is called as hygroscopic. And deliquescent means the tendency of a substance getting liquid, tendency to become liquid by absorbing moisture is called as deliquescent. It is highly soluble in water. And strongly basic. It has a melting point its melting point is 591 Kelvin. Right? And if you are talking about the uses of sodium hydroxide, it is a very, very important substance. It is used in the manufacture of soap as well as glass. It is used in the extraction of aluminium from bauxite. What is bauxite? Aluminium oxide. Ore of aluminium is called as bauxite. It is used in petroleum refining. What is meant by petroleum refining? Purification of petrol. It is used in textile industry for the medicinization of fabric. For the medicinization in the sense, it will be used to make the fabric smooth and shiny. It is used in the manufacture of artificial silk also. These are some general uses of the sodium hydroxide, which is very, very important in commercial scale. It is also used in the preparation of other substances such as sodium carbonate, etc. That is also used in the preparation of other compounds of sodium. So these are some important uses of sodium hydroxide. Hope it is clear. Now, if we are talking about the last important compound of the sodium is that NaCl. What is this? Sodium chloride. This is a very familiar compound for us. It is also known as a rock salt, or it is also called as lake salt, or it is also called as table salt. These are the alternative names of sodium chloride. This is a very abundant compound of sodium. It is available in 2.7 to 2.9% by mass in ocean. In the ocean, the percentage of availability of sodium chloride by mass will be 2.7 to 2.9 grams. Right? Now, it is associated with impurities such as the main impurities of sodium chloride are, this will be magnesium chloride, calcium chloride, calcium sulfate and sodium sulfate. Right? And it is deliquescent due to the presence of, this is very important, the pure sodium chloride is actually not deliquescent, it becomes deliquescent due to the presence of impurities such as magnesium chloride and calcium chloride. So in order to make it purify, in order to remove this, these impurities are removed. These impurities are removed with recrystallization of NaCl with water. When you dissolve this impure sodium chloride in water, what happens? All this magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate will dissolve in the water. Right? Sorry, these are generally what happens. They will be insoluble in water. They will be filtered off. When you get the pure water with the sodium chloride, on evaporation, water gets vaporizes and you will remain with the pure sodium chloride. If you are talking about this, it is a white crystalline solid. White crystalline solid. It has a melting point. The melting point of it will be 1081 kelvins. If you are talking about the uses, it is basically used as a table salt, very important source of salt, and it is used in the manufacture of other chemicals such as sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. It is also used in the preparation of sodium peroxide, etc. It is also used as a food preservative, used as food preservation, used as food preservative. These are some commercial uses of the sodium chloride. And these are some important compounds of sodium in the given surface. Right? There are 4 compounds we have discussed: sodium carbonate, which is called washing soda; sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is called baking soda; sodium hydroxide, which is called caustic soda; and sodium chloride, which is also called as rock salt, common salt, or table salt. We will discuss the uses of alkali metals. If you are talking about the uses of alkali metals, generally lithium is used in making of alloys. What are alloys? Alloys are homogeneous mixture of metals. Used in alloys mainly such as magnesium, lithium alloys. It is used in the making of alloys. Lithium is also used in thermonuclear process. Thermonuclear reactions, because of the high melting point of lithium, it is used in thermonuclear process. In nuclear reactions, it is used. And lithium is also used in electrochemical cells. What is meant by electrochemicals? This you will study in electrochemistry. Basically, lithium batteries are used in so many electronic devices, such as, if you take our mobiles also, the particular mobile you are using, which consists of lithium battery. It is used as an electrochemical cell, where electricity will be produced by a chemical reaction. So it is a commercially used as in electrochemical cell. If you are talking about the sodium is used in petroleum industry. petroleum industry. For the purification of petrol, it is also used in preparation of lead tetraethyl. Tetraethyl lead, or it is also called as tetramethyl. This is tetramethyl lead. This is tetramethyl lead. These two are generally used as anti-knocking agents. Anti-knocking agents. Basically, they improve the performance of petrol by reducing the knocking of the piston. If there is a knocking of the piston, there will be wastage of fuel. In order to prevent that wastage of the fuel in the motor vehicles, some anti-knocking agents will be added to the petroleum. These anti-knocking agents generally include the tetraethyl lead or tetramethyl lead, which are generally prepared by using the sodium. Right? It is also used in the preparation of soap as well as. When you are coming to potassium is used mainly. Many compounds of potassium are used as fertilizers. And if you are talking about the cesium is mainly used in photochemical cells. Where electricity will be produced by using the. You might have seen so many solar panels and all those things. Those solar panels and all those things mainly consist cesium, because of its low ionization energy and most electropositive nature, it readily releases the electron when it is exposed to sunlight. These are some of the uses of alkali metals. Another important thing is that biological importance of alkali metals. Sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are biologically very important. Generally, in human body there are about 27 elements. Out of which 15 are metals. In the human body there are around 15 metals, which play very crucial role. Among those metals are these. First group and second group play very important role. From the first group, sodium, potassium. The second group, magnesium and calcium, will play very important role. These are the major metals that play an important role in the human body. When it comes to the sodium and potassium, this Na plus ion and K plus ions plays a very important role in the transformation of nerve impulse as well as in the contraction and relaxation of muscles. Basically, this sodium ions are excessively present outside the cell wall and potassium ions are present inside the cell wall. This concentration gradient, the difference in the if there is a concentration gradient is there. Concentration gradient in the sense, suppose if we are talking about this is a cell membrane, here excess of Na plus will be there and here excess of K plus will be there. Generally, sodium ions will tend to form from the inside to the outside cell, and potassium ions are generally formed from outside to the inside of the cell. Their concentration difference across the cell membrane will create a potential difference, which will generate an impulse and small amount of electricity, which will help to transmit the nerve impulse. The information either received or transferred from the nervous system will be transported through these nerve impulses. These nerve impulses are generated by the sodium and potassium and various other ions. This sodium and potassium will play an important role in the transformation of nerve impulses as well as contraction of muscles. Right? And the energy required for this process will be given by the ATP in the blood. So, their presence will be very essential for the proper transformation of nerve impulses as well as muscle contraction and relaxations. This is about the biological importance of the sodium and potassium. Hope it is clear so far. And this makes the completion of discussion about the alkali metals. From the next class onwards, we will start the discussion about the alkali earth metal, that is second group elements. That's all for today's class. Thank you.